For decades, the company that set the standard for e-competences has been Microsoft. So where is this major company moving now that e-competences are moving up the management ladder? Well, here to tell us more is Jan Muehlfeit. He's the chairman of Microsoft Europe. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for coming to our e-competences seminar here, too. I want to ask you, I guess we'll jump right in. The field is changing at warp speed. Not only are you getting more clients, but you're getting more clients at higher levels. The role of the chief technology officer is taking on a managerial aspect. How are you changing to work with customers, both IT and non-IT, in this environment?
Indeed, you said it's changing, and we just recently did with IDC some interesting survey, and the CIO in Europe, they think both in the private sector and public sector that almost 90% of the jobs 5 years from now would require some e-skills, some e-competencies. So I think almost all jobs, unless you do snow removal, will be IT-enabled jobs, right? And I think when I started industry more than 20 years ago, IT was a very exotic, very special. Today, IT and ICT investment is perceived as a competitive advantage. So if you want to be successful CIO, you need to bring the e-competencies, but also very good business skills and very good customer focus skills.
So what does that say for business schools to prepare people like this?
I think because the future, I do believe that whether you are individual, organization, or a state, the competitiveness model of the future will be your ability to unlock human potential, right? And I think you need to, if you look at the new, CIOs or for the business, you need to bring people with the merge of different skills. And in general, what I believe that the business schools would need to have much more the merge between the IQ curricula, the traditional disciplines, and the EQ, communication skills, leadership skills, inspirational skills, motivational skills, because your ability to attract talent and to keep talent in your organization will make you, fly or, dive.
How do you handle this at Microsoft? How did you come to this point? Because clearly you have both.
Well, we try. You can perceive Microsoft as a software company, as a software vendor, or you can have your mission statement, and that's the case, because our mission statement is that we try to help people, an organization and the state to realize their potential. Because I'm a strong believer that as a society, whether you look at the healthcare, at the environment, the big challenges we have in education, ICT can make a huge, huge difference. And that's kind of the magic of software, what the software can do.
It's also making a big difference in the part of the world that you come from. You're Czech?
I'm the Czech origin.
And so, but I mean, Eastern Europe has just glommed, as soon as it was available, they glommed onto it, leapfrogged over so many other levels of functioning. Where do you see all this growth coming from?
That's a very good point, because what Eastern Europe did very well, the leapfrogging with the technology, and if you take banks or telcos or big enterprises, they are using very modern, up-to-date technology. The public sector is a little bit, behind it, but they are also implementing the e-government technologies. Where Eastern Europe still needs to do a better job are the business skills, because traditionally during the communist era, there were very strong technical skills. Where there's a still shortage, on the other hand, of the business skills, that's where Eastern Europe needs to speed up. But I'm a strong believer that, this region will be very successful in the future.
So what do you look for when you're hiring new employees yourself? That
well,
must be changing too.
When I joined Microsoft 17 years ago and I was hiring people, it was like 80% experience, 20% attitude and all values and all that stuff. Today, it almost changed, right? I think today, experience, I'm not saying it's irrelevant, but it's less important. Your attitude, the way you are able to learn, to learn, unlearn, and relearn, that's important. That's point number one. Point number two, I'm looking much more, if you wanted to join us just for the money, it doesn't work. Because I'm always saying, you can buy hands, maybe the brains, of your employees for the money. You never buy the heart, right? And I think the company and the mission of the company is about the heart.
Is that changing as a result of the crisis as well, or because of the demands from your customers?
It is changing a little bit because of the crisis, but I think the crisis, in fact, will speed up the implementation of the technological projects, because if you look both in the enterprise sector, the private sector, and the public sector, technology can make, for example, in the public sector, a lot of reforms, whether those are the pension reforms, social reforms, healthcare reforms, can make them happen sooner. Because technology does three things: saving the money, making people more productive, and making people more innovative, right? So we call it new efficiency, and that's where we are going. So I think the crisis speed up the usage and implementation of the technology.
So what kinds of new products, if we figure the crisis has probably been here maybe around 18 months or so, are you changing your product line or your service line?
We are not, because you know what is between now and 5 years, this is pretty much 5 to 10 years, it's almost 10 years plus. Nobody knows exactly what will happen, right? Our direction is direction of the three screens: your mobile device, your computer, and your entertainment device, whether it's TV or something even bigger. And then the second part of the strategy is software on your client. And again, the client can be very different product, and the cloud and the services in the cloud, the combination of the both worlds, right? And obviously we are very happy with the acceptance of Windows 7. We are bringing new products in the spring, our Microsoft Exchange, our email system, but we are not changing the strategy. The strategy is that, as I said, all of that, economical and financial crisis is speeding up, I think, the attractiveness to use technology to save money, be innovative, and be more productive.
Do you have to hold your customers' hands as you introduce them to not just new technology, but new uses for existing technology? How do you keep them up to speed and still coming back to buy more?
Right. I think the one important point you mentioned is readiness, both for our customers and our partners, because they are implementing. If we do €1 in Europe, our partners are making €8 on the services, new applications they are building. So you need to have people ready, and that's the people ready strategy, whether it's on customer side or the partner side. That's where the whole e-competence and today seminar on e-competence and e-skills plays very well. So we have a number of certifications both for the users and ICT professionals to get ready for the usage of technology.
Let me end by asking you where you think we will be with e-competences in the business world and actually at home, because everybody has a level of e-competence today that they probably couldn't have imagined a decade ago. In 3 to 5 years, what do you see?
Well, 3 to 5 years, as I said, almost all jobs will be ICT-enabled jobs. That's number one. Number two, I think we need to take in account, this is first time in the human history when the young generation understands and uses technology in much better way than the current generation. It's gonna to change politics. If you look what happened during the US elections, you have a good example. It's gonna to change the workplaces. It's gonna to change the whole economy, right? Because this young generation, like the generation of my daughter, she's 13, they'll be sooner this decision makers, whether the business decision makers or technical decision makers, than was my generation. And that's why where the businesses and the public sector needs to look at. If you wanted to have a successful business or the public sector, you need to have in mind, you need to introduce Web 2.0 tools. You need to integrate Facebook, Twitter in your existing solutions. That's where all technology will merge. So I'm very optimistic about what magic of software in our case can do for society. Because if you look at the big societal challenges, technology can make a huge positive difference in the next 3 to 5 years.
All right, well, hopefully you'll come back and talk to us during that period and tell us how your 13-year-old daughter is now directing a company or something.
Yeah, I hope so. Thank you.
Thank you very much for being with us on INSEAD Knowledge.